Is college worth it? I was just speaking at a conference and there was a Q&A, and somebody asked me what my view of college was and if that's something I was pushing on my kids. Then this morning I woke up and this article was marketed to me. Why college is a huge expense that's still worth it for now. Now, I'm sure my phone was just listening in on things I was talking about and thought, okay, here's an interest. But I do think this is an interesting point. As school becomes more expensive, as kids struggle more and more with student debt, and now you're starting to see a shift in the population, especially the younger generation, that's now saying, it's 56%, that the price of college is no longer worth it. So that's what we're gonna go over today. Is it worth it? I'm gonna go over this article loosely and what it's selling, and then I'll give you my opinion. So this article basically has a couple staple arguments on why you need to go to college, but a couple of them are this. One, they do admit that the cost of college is expensive. The average four-year private school charges just over $39,000 a year, and that doesn't include room and board. So they acknowledge that, but what they say is there is so much more financial aid available from federal and state governments and universities that once you adjust for inflation and factor in financial aid, that the net cost of tuition and fees has actually been decreasing over the last 5 or 6 years. So they say that, we're focusing too much on the gross and not the net cost. The other one, this is kind of the staple argument in my perspective, is on average, college graduates earn $1.2 million more over their lifetime and are less likely to be unemployed. That was kind of what was told to me is you'll make more money if you go to college, straight up. And then the last one, which I think is just kind of a bonus, is they talk about tax advantage options. You can save for your kids. You can open a 529 plan where all of the gains in that investment are tax-free, but the money has to be used towards school. So my opinion is I don't think this article answered the question, which is college worth it or not? And I actually think it's impossible to answer that question unless you know one thing. And that is, what are you going to do? What is your career? Unless you know what you want to do, it makes it impossible to know if the cost of college is worth it or not. It's kind of the idea of if you don't know where you're headed, it's impossible to find the best path towards it, right? So I think first and foremost, you have to know what you want to do. Now, there's a lot of kids that go to school not knowing what they want to do, and they use it as kind of, I'm going to go to figure it out, and then I'll be better off. I think that's dangerous. I think with the cost of school and having most kids take on student debt, and with student debt, your inability to default and discharge that debt, you may be putting yourself in a distressed position financially for the rest of your life. And so this is a very important question to ask. Now, what I'm going to tell my kids, and if you're watching this, you're still in high school, you're trying to figure out if college is worth it or not. If I were your parent, this is what I would be asking you. One, what do you want to do? That has to be the first and foremost. What do you want to do? Then you can ask yourself, does college give you the best skills to succeed at that career? Is it the best path towards success? And does the earning potential for that career make sense? Or are you picking a career that doesn't even have enough earning potential to pay off your debt? If that's the case, I'm going to tell my kids, absolutely not. You're not going to school. That, in my perspective, is a terrible investment. If you're investing money to go earn something and that earning potential can't even pay off your debt, not good. In the world of investing, we would never buy a property that didn't make enough income to pay off our debt. Why would we do that? A lender wouldn't even give it to us. But with schools, they happen to just give it to anyone, regardless of how much money they can make. So I would first and foremost figure out what you want to do. If you want to be an attorney, if you want to be a doctor, these are obvious ones. You have to go to school to go down that path. So I think that's just an easier one to figure out. If you want to do something like marketing or advertising, this is a question you have to ask yourself. Starting salary, $43,000. Median for all majors, $45,000. mid-career salary, 86,000, median for all majors, 78,000. So when it comes to marketing, it doesn't seem like employers care that much if you went to college or not. Really what they're focusing on, and as a business owner, I would look for the same thing. Do you know what you're doing? Right? If I'm going to hire you to create funnels and marketing campaigns, show me your work. If you know what you're doing, I'm going to hire you. I could care less how you learned. One that I talked to somebody not that long ago, and it's interesting. It's right here. If you want to be a pastor, you want to go to school for religious studies, right? Starting salary, $41,000. Directors of religious education earn a median salary of $38,979 a year. Clergy members make $44,000 a year, and other religious workers earn just $29,000 annually. Now, I get it. Like, you going to school for religion to make a ton of money, I don't think that's right. Like, I think there's an alternative motive there. But if you're stepping into that career, it's typically going to be for a different calling. But if you have to go to school to take on a lot of debt to do so, that's something you might want to consider. Do you really need to go to a very expensive school knowing that your career most likely isn't going to pay your debt for you? That's a huge one. Now, I think we're entering a time where it's changing. Like, when I was younger, even something like marketing, I think they would have required a college degree to really earn something. Elon Musk said this recently. He'd actually prefer you not to go to school, not to go to college, because he feels like if you go to college and then you come work for him, now he's got to unteach you everything you just were taught for the last 4 years. So I think there's more and more employers who aren't putting as much emphasis on a college degree. For the kids who don't know what they want to do, right? And I get it. I remember at 17, 18, that was really hard to figure out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. I would really recommend taking a gap year. I would take a year off and either travel, go intern for people, go hang around people that are doing things that you may think are interesting, try to work for them for free. Just use that year as an opportunity to soak up as much experience in categories of interest to help you figure out what you want to be. It's going to change everything for you. Just that 1 year will be huge. Now, one of the hard parts when it comes to this conversation is your parents. Like, I think not going to college still has a kind of negative view that maybe something like renting a home does. So I think for a parent to tell their friends that their son or daughter isn't going to college seems like their kid is just blowing it and is going to be a deadbeat. You got to work on that with your parents. And I think how you do that is you build out a plan, right? Mom and dad, this is what I want to do. I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to go intern for this person, this person, this person, this person. Why? Because I have an interest in all 4 categories. Once I hone in on that category, I'm going to know what I want to do. From that point, I'm going to decide if school is worth it. How I'm going to make that decision is, this is the cost of school. This is my earning potential. Can I make more by going to school on the back end? If the answer is yes, I'm going to do it. But if the answer is no, this is going to be my path. I'm going to take these courses online. I'm going to learn these talents. I'm going to either apply for this job in the hopes of growing with the company, or I'm going to apply here to learn even more to then start my own business. Your parents love you, right? Your parents worry for your future. They want what's best for you. And what scares them is feeling like you don't care and you're just out there winging it. What will give them a lot of comfort is a game plan. And that game plan doesn't necessarily have to have college in it, but it will do you wonders if you present this idea to them, if your parents are someone who are going to be uncomfortable with you going to school. If you're watching this video, what I want to know is, what was your college degree, and are you using that in your current career? Or if you didn't go to school, what are you doing now? And do you wish you would have gone back to go to school? And I guess even for people that did go to college, let me know if you're glad you got your degree or if it actually doesn't feel like it was worth it. Leave it in the comments. I'm going to go through it. I think this is going to be very valuable if there's anyone young that's watching this. Also, if someone in your family is going through this, younger sibling trying to figure out if they want to go to school, friends, you know somebody, please send them this video. I think getting stuck in college debt is a trap that we don't want people to be in. So please send them this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button. I will see you guys next week.